G'day, Steve from offthegridnoz.com again. This is Subfloor cam. Now this is the second part of building and construction off grid. I'm just going to show you or give you a short video on how this type of construction we used this time around, which is structural insulated panels, what it sort of looks like and how we went about it, just in brief. And I'm going to start from underneath. Obviously we're looking at underneath. So first thing people ask with this sort of construction is, well, what's it sit on? Well, what it sits on, and I'm going to show you over there, a little block, concrete blocks. Those blocks are spaced sort of like stumps, but they're spaced a bit further apart. As you would think, you probably imagine your container would be sitting on. You wouldn't put blocks as close as stumps, but this place has these blocks 3 meters apart in all directions. It's a 3 meter grid pattern. They're 12 inches by 12 inches or 300 mil by 300 mil. They're recessed into the ground to give them a bit of strength, just like a stump, but they're basically just hand poured, boxed off, leveled out. You just put a whole lot of blocks on the ground as you would sit your container on, and that's what this sits on. Now you'll see up above it the steels that are there. The steel that sits directly on the block is just like your orthodox bearer. I know the camera's probably not going to show it real well, but you know, give it a go. The steel on the bottom that sits on the concrete blocks just spans from block to block right around the whole build. You'll see blocks up there. This is a dead rectangle, so it was pretty easy to lay out. On top of those steels that sit on the blocks, and they're C-channel steels. They're commonly called a purlin, C-channel, purlin, whatever you like to call it. They're relatively light gauge. They're what you see in factory roofs, sheds. A lot of sheds actually use a lot of C-channel. And on top of that is another C-channel, that one up there. Same sort of deal. It's a C-channel or a purlin. They're just the same as what you would call a joist, a floor joist, and they're just in the same sort of pattern, 400 centers across the build. And that's pretty much what holds this place up. Nothing's fixed down. There's no orthodox concrete stumps, so the theory has it that this building can have a heap of jacks put under it, just lift the whole damn thing up in one hit. Now, one thing I'm going to show you is the floor. I hadn't mentioned this, but in the $20,000 that we spent to get this pile of materials here, the floors that I'm focusing on now are actually 50 mil thick SIPs. They're 50 mil thick insulated panels. I'd never seen this done before, but the floor being one of the biggest factors in heating and cooling, you get a lot of heat transfer, cold transfer through floors, and that's why even in orthodox building methodology today, there's lots of regulations. Some places, some councils make you actually insulate a floor. So this place is already insulated by these panels. The panels went down straight on top of the joists as you would put flooring down. The covering that you put over the top takes no special preparation. We were able to put our floating laminate floors and our tile floors straight down over the top. And this was very quick. These sheets were 6 meters long, these flooring sheets. They're 50 mil thick, as I said. Foam filled, insulated, double-sided Colorbond steel. And 6 meters by 1100 millimeters. So the floor went down pretty quick. Now, with this stuff, people go, it's all steel. It's not a hammer and not a saw in sight. The beams, once I decided how large I wanted this rectangle to be, it was only a matter of just ordering the channels that the blocks are holding up, which are the bearers, ordered them cut to length, ordered the joists, the one above, those ones up there, ordered them cut to length. So there was not even a pair of snips or anything. They were all pre-drilled, all included in this $20,000, alright? So this thing was like a Meccano set to put together from the ground up. Once you got around the problem of just setting up your concrete blocks, it was really just a socket set and a tech gun. is all that shot this down. Those floor panels are shot down. I glued them as well as screwed them down. Got some 65mm countersunk metal drilling screws, so the whole floor is actually screwed down, and use liquid nails as you would normally use to stop any creaks and stuff like that happening. So yeah, that's the subfloor. Simple concrete block, simple C-channel on the blocks as bearers, orthodox style C-channel as joists, and then structurally insulated panels as flooring. That's the subfloor. Now, as far as connecting it all up goes, I think there's a shot over there I might be able to get. You can see the bolts. I hope it goes. I don't know whether that's blurry or not. A bit hard to see. There, got the standard brackets that you buy with this C-channel, and they're just a socket set to put the bolts together. And that way you can connect all the intersecting joints. There's no welding. There's nothing real technical involved. You've just got these bolts in the corner, and that focus is really terrible, but never mind. You get the drift. No power saws, no chisels, no cutting, all measured to order. The sheets are on the floor. Pretty much only have to cut the final waste off the far side. Start on one side flush, lay them across, and then you've got your base. So that's the base. Concrete block, just like you're going to sit your container on, hypothetically. C-channels for joists, C-channels for bearers. Drop your panels on, and there's your floor down. Not a nail, not a hammer, nothing. Alright, now I'm just going to get up, excuse the camera moving, and show you up here. Oh, that's good. Live cameras. Now you'll see there the joists themselves. That outside beam is the bearer, the one with the pipes on it. That's just what you would call a bearer. And on top of that are the joists. They've got little brackets on them. The brackets are just screwed on with Tech gun screws all the way along. Again, no nails. That just pins them down. Every intersecting point where the bearer hits the joist, I put a bracket on both sides. You can see another one just there, just bent over on the inside. It's all pretty simple. Not much skill involved. Everything's pre-cut for you. Like I said, if you order your rectangle, your square, whatever it is, figure out your grid pattern. I mean, you have to get specifications on loads, and probably any old builder would probably be able to help you out with that. I stuck with a 3 metre by 3 metre grid pattern of blocks, and that's that. Now I'm going to back off. The walls. You see this little thing here? Where is it? That little bit there? That's a C-channel. That is the thing that goes on top of your joist that catches the wall panels. These wall panels actually slide into this C-channel. That actually gives the base somewhere to hold the wall in place. The channel on the bottom is screwed to the joist, and then the walls are pop riveted into the channel. Again, very simple, all done with snips. Now when I'm going to get up off the ground, that was exciting, wasn't it? These panels, you can see the joint in them, just there. That joint is actually about 30mm deep. They literally just slip together. And I'm going to go around the back, and I'll show you. Now, another thing is, this bay window, again, that was, if you look underneath, it was built with the same panels. So these panels aren't just good for floors and walls. You can make all sorts of strange shapes out of them, cut them to shape. C-channel on the outside of them, just all riveted together. A little bit of skill or geometry involved when you want to make up your strange shape, but that's just the same with timber or any other material. Come around the other side, I'm just going to give you a quick look at the material up close. Yeah, that was a subfloor anyway. Subfloor is very simple, very, very much like an orthodox sort of a build. Now, what we got here is the edge of the the panels. You can see there it's got this lip. That lip, one is an inner lip, and on the other side is an outer lip. All they do is they, geez, that sun's bright, they slide straight in to this groove. So they basically click inside. Now I'm going to find somewhere else where it's a bit easier to see it. Bloody sun's bright. There we go. Now you can see the profile on the roof there. I'm not going to move the camera. The roofing is pretty much like normal roofing. Got the shape on the top, 100mm thick all the way through, Colorbond lined on the other side, so it's a finished painted surface. All very easy to slip together. They're all slip joints, alright? There's probably a better shot of the slip joint there. We got 50mm scraps because the floor was 50mm, the roof was 100mm, and the walls were 100mm. So when you're thinking about how much, you know, how much skill you need, there's not a real lot of skill on this. I'm going to pull this over. Cameras all over the place. Here on the other side. There's a picture of the channel. Jeez, I wish the sun wasn't so bright. There you go, you can probably see it there. That's a picture of the channel. That's the 100mm channel. The walls just literally slide into these channels. So everywhere where you have a panel meet another surface, you put a piece of channel on. Pop rivet in on the sides, pins the channel to the panel, and away you go. And you'll notice on this side again, same drill. Got the channel, see the little lip, the grey lip at the bottom. That's capturing the bottom of all the panels. You got the bearer, or the main beam under there, sitting on the concrete block there. And the joists, which are just there, bolted down as I showed on the other side. So the components, the tools you need are very, very simple. You don't need, as I said, power saws. I use a saber saw to cut this stuff as I wander around the back. Sorry about all the jumping, but you know, that's life. That's real cam. Now I'm just going to pop into the laundry. You see in the laundry, over here, got these shelves. I make shelves, everything out of the sips. So the same material, don't worry about the sugar, we use a lot of sugar in our distilled water. The shelves and most of the internal walls as well are all done out of sips. So your sips aren't just external cladding, they're not just the roof, they're not just the floor, they're all the shelving and bits and pieces as well. Very versatile material. I'm going to zip inside now for a second. I hope everyone understands what I'm trying to do here. Right, now even the shower, these walls, see the wall there? It's a dividing wall either side of the shower. Again, internal walls made out of sips. Finished colour, solid as a rock. One panel from C-channel around the edges just to finish it off. I put a nice timber trim on that one just for something to do. Like to add a little bit of, you know, raw material. This place is very modern. When I say modern, it's not modern in design. These sips are a very modern material. They've been around for a long time, but haven't been used greatly in orthodox commercial, orthodox private building. Commercial applications have been around for this stuff for a long time, but some of the lights, made those lights up by hand. They're timber frames, LEDs, didn't have to cut into the ceiling panel because the ceilings are done, as you can see over there. The ceilings and walls are all done in these structurally insulated panels. No cavity, so you have to use a little bit of ingenuity when it comes to anything you add to these. You haven't got a cavity, so things have to be fitted externally. So things like light fixtures, like that one there, they're fitted externally. A little bit of conduit to run the wire to them. Get that nice little neat, I'll show around here, the rectangular conduit. Again, a lot of people wouldn't like that, especially if you're into mud brick and all these other, you know, more natural building processes. Well, fine, you won't like this stuff perhaps, but from a functional point of view and from an ease of build, speed, cost. All these walls, SIP panels, structurally insulated panels, 100mm thick, pop riveted together with the same thing. Whoa. I won't get any points for the quality of the video today. Never mind. There's our VAP cooler, so we do have a VAP cooler. But yeah, you can see the edge of all the walls have got these channels on. Just big 3/16 rivets scattered about every 300-400mm up and down all walls. So the edges of the walls get the little C channel to capture the end and clean it up. Tops get the C channel to clean it up. And that's about it. So structurally insulated panels, I believe, are a really cost-effective way to go, as I've said a million times. We have got, I'm just going to show that, we do recycled material. We've got lovely window there. Got another one in the bedroom in there. They're all double sash windows, recycled. And remember the floor, laminated floor, orthodox, fairly orthodox. You know, I use 12mm laminate. Sat straight on top of the SIPs. No preparation required. Tile floor in the kitchen, big 600 by 600 tiles. I did put AC sheet under that. Now this is even the kitchen, SIP panels. We've left it open deliberately because we're going to slowly fill this up with country style equipment and bits and pieces, but the basic carcass of even the kitchen is made out of SIP panels. They provide strength, they're easy to put up, they're very, very low cost. You're able to put a nice tile on top. Benches have got nice ceramic tiles on top. Again, just a little bit of AC sheet as you would normally put under the tile on top of the SIP panel. I finished off with these aluminium strips, polished aluminium strips, which were pretty cheap. Bloody glare's terrible. Around that way, oh you can see it there better. But yeah, right on the edge we've got these aluminium strips just to clean up the edges. But all in all, structurally insulated panels, guys. If you want to ask any questions, shoot us a message about them. But you can have your building anywhere up to this size, which is 12 squares. I can vouch for this only because we have purchased this material. 20 grand. We had all that steel you saw under the floor. That included a bit of concrete, which there was 500 bucks worth of concrete. All the panels, these windows, the newer windows and doors, double glazed. The roof, the veranda roof outside, which you can see through there, which I've showed before. All of that for 20 grand. Not a hammer, not a nail in sight, right? Just a pop rivet gun. I did wind up buying a new saber saw with a really long blade. Cuts this stuff like a treat. So you need a saber saw, you need a jigsaw with a steel blade, and you need a couple of good battery drills. Battery drills put this stuff together. Drills your pop rivets, shoot your screws in, and all that stuff. Very, very simple. Couple of good pair of tin snips certainly comes in handy. So there you go. That's just a small intro into the SIPs construction. Concrete blocks, C channel underneath. Quite a few ways you can do the underneath. The C channel was the way I chose. A lot of people will put them on rails, heavier rails, and that's fine. This is a fairly fairly square building. Sorry, it's about 10.5 metres by 10.5 metres on the main building. So because it's a rectangle, I didn't go for long heavy channels. If you're building narrower and longer, you could probably go to RHS or RSJ if you're really keen. A few more bucks involved, but all these C channels that I used was probably a little bit more support as far as blocks went underneath. And that's it. It's Steve from offthegridnoz.com with my first one on structurally insulated panels. Was going to do a little demo on how to put a few bits of it together, and I might do that another day. I have things outside to go and do now, so I'll leave you with this. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Drop into offthegridnoz.com if you want. Feel free to ask any questions. We'll answer any reasonable questions that come our way. If you want some really detailed advice about this sort of building, probably a little bit of closer contact, building up to maybe even phone contact, if you want some genuine advice, some straight up advice on details about your particular project, I haven't got a problem with that, alright? So anyway, like, subscribe and all of that, and I'll catch you on the next one. The next one's I'm going to cover, steel sheds, orthodox building. We've got some orthodox building. Our little house, our granny flat, we built in an orthodox manner, and I want to go over the costs involved in that, because that is an orthodox build on this new property, and we have done in conjunction with the main house, which is done in a more modern material, so to speak. Alright, so it's cheers for now, and we'll catch you on the next video. Hope you have a good day, make it a productive one, keep smiling, go out, get that advice, make your own damn choice. Remember the golden rule, we're just here to give you a few ideas. Go away and build your mud brick, go away, put your container up, all bloody honky-dory. Alright, we never ever, anyone argues that, you know what I told you to go and tell them to do. And it was something very nasty, and I won't bother repeating it. But yes, you make your own decisions up. This is purely for information. I like to show what we've done. This is our first build with structural insulated panels. We were familiar with the material, but had never built an entire house from it. Unbelievable is all I can say. I can't make enough videos about it. Although, because of the simplicity of it, really there's not much you can actually say about it. It's like I've gone through, it's usable for many applications. In the house, under the house, the roof, internal walls, cupboards. I'll show you the pantry. Alright. We even, as a shelving example, just before we go, there you go. Even the pantry, built out of SIPs. 50mm, C-channel on the front edge. Alright. Very easy, you pop rivet to the wall, no nails, no glue. Just like Meccano kits, alright? So, there you go. You can even build lots of your internal stuff with it very cheaply. Down the end, got a pretty good pantry. This one's a bit bigger than the last one, I haven't finished yet. Don't worry about that stuff there. Alright, cheers for now, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.